everyone. Welcome in episode 77 of Coffee and Chel. Myself and Padre, joined by St. Louis Blues forward Robert Thomas, and we're gonna talk a little Chel, talk a little bit of the real life thing, and Robert, thanks for joining us, boss.
Yeah, absolutely.
I gotta stop calling you like full Robert. Rob, we're gonna go Rob.
Or Bob.
Bob is even better. Well,
there you go.
All right, first things first. Everyone that plays hockey Ultimate Team has to know. All right, first you grind hut. All right, you play a little bit. You played a bit. Last year you had a fantasy hockey card for every goal you scored in real life. Did you know about that?
Yeah, I did. I'm pretty sure Stewie texted me after every single goal I had, a picture of the upgrade. So I definitely had heard about that one.
All right, love it. I mean, hey, it was a little unexpected. I think you're more of a pass first kind of guy, so it was a different investment there, I think. But did you play Chel growing up as a kid?
Yeah, me and my brother played Chel. God, every year it came out, we played Ultimate Team. We'd always start off. We'd both have our own accounts, and then kind of a couple months in, we'd combine our accounts and have all the best players, and it was a blast. I mean, we got to just play together at night, and it's a good way to bond with him. And I love playing Chel. I love playing video games in general, so I always had a blast.
You were pretty good at the One Button Michigan at the media tour. We got to play. You picked that up pretty quickly, I think.
Yeah. It wasn't. I'm gonna be honest. It wasn't too hard to do. So
it wasn't.
Skill, but yeah,
no, it wasn't. Good. Did you always grab your 99 card?
Yeah, I did the past bunch of years. Then it kind of I kept getting a ton of messages and stuff, so I put the 99 away. And I'm just playing incognito this year.
I talked to some guys and like they did the exact same thing. Like the first year, they're like, "Oh, all right, sweet, I got my 99," and then the second, like then people start realizing you're just getting flooded with messages. I feel that.
Yeah, it was getting. It was fun though.
And Tomer has a very distinctive play style. He likes to rag the puck.
He loves it.
He's a notorious ragger, and
that is not true. Throwing me under the bus like that.
This guy.
But he does enjoy watching me rag the puck on my stream. He gets a kick out of it.
Did you did you play any other games?
Video games?
Yeah.
Yeah, I play a bunch. I always like playing the golf games.
Really?
Sometimes NBA, COD a lot. So I play kind of spread the love, play some Valorant. I kind of dabble in everything.
So you like really game then? Like that's pretty crazy.
I mean, I got a bunch of buddies. We play a bunch of different games, so it's always fun.
When you were a kid, like, did you have a game like you remember like the first game that you like grinded, like that you just played a ton of?
I would say probably Black Ops 2, Call of Duty.
Yeah.
Me and my brother played that nonstop. That was probably the number one for me.
Okay, fair enough. Stu, did you play any of that? Did you ever play COD?
Yeah, I was really into that. Which, Tomer, you can help me because you're like a COD like nerd. I feel like with stuff. What was the COD with Crash and Bog? The maps. I can't remember which. It was like one of the Modern Warfares. That was like my favorite one.
Yeah, I'm not old enough for that one.
Okay, yeah, I know.
I was gonna say, I feel like I'm older than I'm quite older than Bob here, but I'm a little older than Stu.
The other day we were texting, me and Tomer, and we were talking about our buddy Skullface, the guy we played Warzone with. He just won the best of one or whatever. Or the one the top, I don't know, whatever. It's like the solo YOLO something World Series of Warzone. He just won the whole thing. He's nasty, and we played with him a few times, especially during COVID.
Weird flex.
And weird flex. No, we knew about it before he was good. No, I was kidding. But he was at the new event, and Tomer was telling me like the new game has all the old maps coming back. So I think a lot of people are really pumped up about that. So maybe
I miss OG Halo, but I feel like you guys might have been too like maybe not used to, but I feel like you gotta be too young. You're probably too young for like Halo because like that was like Halo 3 came out when I was like in high school, and that was like the game early on.
Yeah, I didn't play too much Halo, but Skullface is legit.
Yeah.
You gotta check this guy out. We played with him a while ago, and he's big time now. So he's a good kid, and he's a hell of a player.
So your preseason just ended, right? Like last night, I think. At the time of this recording.
Yeah.
Scored a couple goals.
Yeah. couple goals.
Did you Sally?
No, they're kind of greasy ones. One snuck in 5-hole, and the other one was an open
Yeah,
net. So
what were you laughing about after the first one? I saw you were like dying laughing. Like, what happened? What was so funny?
okay, so it was kind of funny. I was going back and forth with Bucci and Kyra, and I was telling them how I'm going to score 5-hole. And if you watched my first 2 shifts, I had the exact same shot, wide open, like I was 1-on-1 with the goal, and I shot a 5-hole, and I missed both of them. And then that one went in 5-hole, so that's what I was dying laughing about.
Okay, yeah, that's pretty good.
Yeah, I was like wondering. I was like,
what's it like now, like being like when you were a rookie? Like, well, your rookie season's was a little crazy, but like earlier on in your career when you had like training camp preseason, is it way different now? Like for you specifically?
Yeah, I'd say it's definitely a little different feeling. Obviously, you got a little bit more comfort and kind of know where you stand. But I think kind of mindset wise, it's like when I was younger and fighting for a spot on the team and trying to make it, like the older guys work their ass off to help me get to where I am today. So it's kind of my job to kind of return that favor to the younger generation and kind of keep moving it along. So I would say a little bit different feeling, but same kind of intensity.
Is it like just like trying to stay healthy now? Like, is that what it is like for like the guys that have been around or they have a roster spot kind of? Like what is it specifically in the preseason that you use to try it? Like is it like speed or is it your shot? Like is there something like you're trying to specifically work on?
I'd say a bunch of things. I think every kind of summer you look at different things throughout the season that you try and improve on. For me, it was my shot was a big thing. So this preseason, I kind of just worked on. I really wanted to focus in on when I got the puck in the right area, just making sure I got a shot off instead of trying to pass it through 3 guys to someone else. So that was kind of what I really focused on this preseason.
And a couple. Go ahead.
No, I was gonna say, in the preseason, like I can't remember, it was like the first year you played. You were like, you started out like in the first year, you were like a winger. Like I know you played center, but they had you on the wing, didn't they? Like most of your first year, you were on the wing, right?
Yeah, I played my whole first season on the wing, even probably half 3/4 of my second season on the wing. So played a lot of wing before finally made it back.
Do you
to center.
prefer either one? Someone in the chat asked, "Do you prefer center or wing?"
Definitely center for sure. Yeah, I feel like it's just so different. I know you kind of interchange positions throughout the game, but I feel like I'm kind of a player that likes to keep his speed and I like to support the puck everywhere. And when I'm on the wing, I feel like I'm just like stopped dead still, and I'm not as fast as some other guys going in a straight line. So I'd just be behind the play. But I love center.
Yeah, but you got nasty edges, and we need Clappy and them next year to give you elite edges instead of the.
That's
it.
it.
Like the passing play. I don't even know what
you got a passing X factor.
We need you. I mean, you're a nasty passer. I say you're top 5 in the league always, but I still think your edge works like ridiculous. But I texted you the other day after the Hawks game, that Bedard game, and I was asking you obviously he's legit. He's really freaking good. And me and Sleazy always bust my balls because I'm not Canadian, and I'm always like, there's no way he scores 40.
It's different in Canada, yeah.
I'm like, there's no way he scores 40 goals. And then I was like asking you about it. So I guess the whole telecast, Panger was like, he loves Tomer. He skated with him this summer, I guess. Like, I guess somehow like you guys like know each other a little bit or something. He said, and Bedard even said he was like excited to play you and he looked up to you or something like that. So, what was it like? I guess playing, even though it's preseason, like what was it like playing against him? I guess the other night.
Yeah, it's pretty cool. Yeah, it was. He came up to our gym for a couple weeks in the summer, and you just tell right away how good he was. I think there's no doubt he's going to be a top player in the league. I think everyone's kind of seen that, whether you skated with him or played against him. He's just got that skill and kind of that it factor. So it was pretty neat. It takes a little bit to kind of get used to it. He made some crazy plays in our first game. I think one of his first shift, he kind of cut across the ice, toe dragged a guy, and almost scored. And that would have been pretty crazy. But yeah, it's pretty cool to see young guys with just so much skill and go against them.
We keep getting the same question in chat, so we're gonna ask it. Are you and Torrey Krug buds now after the 2019 final hits?
Yeah, we're pretty close buddies. It's something funny. I think I always get a good kick out of it because the amount of times I've had to sign that photo and Kruger's already signed it.
Oh no.
It's pretty funny. Yeah, that hurts, but
Wait,
it would have hurt a lot more if we didn't win that.
That's true. You got the last laugh.
You played game 1 and you played game 6. I don't want to bug you guys during that cup run or whatever. And I know you had, was it a wrist or was it a hand injury? Because I remember you had the cast on like when we were like celebrating at like OBs and stuff like that. What was that from? That I never asked you that. Like, what was that injury from? Like, because you had it like I feel like most of the playoffs.
Yeah, I broke my wrist in this game 2 San Jose.
Was it like a slash or was it like a stick? Or
yeah,
yeah.
So I was playing with it for that whole series, and then just got
broken
to a point
wrist.
Who slashed you? Who was it?
I can't remember who it was. It wasn't like a crazy slash, but it got me pretty good on my wrist.
And then you had to like get like injected, I guess, probably like just to like play with it.
Yeah, it was tough playing through, but it was worth it in the end.
When you guys like early on in that season, because that season's so nuts, because you guys were in last place in like January, like the middle of January, right? Like in the Western Conference at least. Like were the vibes just like no one talked about how good you guys were, like all the wins and stuff afterwards? Like what was the difference in vibes from the first half to the second half? Because that's so weird. Like that's one of the all-time regular seasons just to get in.
Yeah, it was pretty crazy. I think going into the year, it was my first year. I was kind of feeling it all out, but we all knew we were a good team. And, sometimes you get in these little streaks where, it seems like every game you're up 1-0 and then they score 3 goals in 5 minutes, and it's just so hard to come back from that. And it kind of felt like that throughout the year. And we kind of, obviously Bennington came in, played unreal, and we kind of just caught a little bit of a spark and never looked back really. So it was definitely a roller coaster. I kind of got both ends of pro hockey, from being the worst team to the best.
That's crazy. Yeah, 1 year.
Pretty good learning experience. That's for sure.
I completely didn't realize that year that you guys won was like. So I'm a Sharks fan. I didn't ask you this at the media tour either. I wish I would have, but. So that was in my opinion, that was the Sharks' best team ever and their best shot at ever winning the cup in all of like their 15 years of being good. What was your guys' reaction after the Timo Meier goal, the punch in? Like were you guys just like, what in the world? I'm a fan. Me and Stewie got into a fight. Like we were friends, and I was just like, hey man, bounces happen, and he was just like, here's a novel of just like. What was it like though? Like, were you guys just like, was it just whatever, it's on to the next one, or were you guys just like in the dressing room, like I don't know what to do, like, you know what I mean?
Yeah, I think that night after the game, we were pretty rattled. I mean, just to be in that situation and have that happen, it sucked. Obviously, they changed the rule after that year, so that it doesn't happen again. But yeah, that was a pretty hard one, but. Honestly, it kind of motivated us for the next 2 games.
You didn't win another game.
2 games, and yeah, so I guess you can kind of take it as a good way.
What was the other than the winning of the cup during the playoffs? Do you have like a memory that I really like fun memory, like you like just the cool, like you were a rookie, right? So it was like your first shift in the playoffs. Like, do you have like specific memories of that during the run that like maybe no one else would?
Yeah. To be honest, my first game was in Winnipeg, and they got this whiteout thing going on, and it is crazy loud in there. Like it was wild, and it's all white, and that was my first playoff game, and it was pretty damn cool. So that was definitely a memory that sticks with me. Obviously, our Dallas series was probably the craziest series.
That was the overtime game, right? The wraparounders going on Bennington.
Yeah, so that game 7 was just wild.
That was the only game I missed that whole playoff run. I had my daughter that night, and I was in the hospital, and I just remember like hearing people in the hospital cheer because like you guys scored, and like I couldn't pull up the game for some. It was like messing up in the hospital. I just remember, but yeah, Tomer smoked the post, and then Patty poked it in. It was crazy.
As a rookie in overtime in that game, was there like a sense of like? Obviously you want to score and all of that, but it was like, man, I just don't want to be the guy that like causes the breakaway or something like that. Was there any what were the nerves like in that overtime? Because you're a rookie.
Yeah, I would say probably the first shift you're a little nervous, but after that, you're more just excited to make the difference, I think. Yeah, it's obviously a big moment. You don't want to mess it up, but I think you're more excited for trying to help the team win than kind of cost the team the win. So
You probably had more nerves sitting in the box in game one of the cup final when you took that penalty on that was a hooking penalty on Bergeron. I saw I was like looking up, I was like looking at the games you played, and I'm like, oh crap, I forgot he took a penalty in that game. Were you like sitting in the box just sweating
What's it like
bullets?
that? Yeah, penalty when you take a penalty in the playoffs.
honestly, I didn't know I had a penalty in that game. But now I don't even remember it.
So we obviously like NHL stuff, like we had to go back to the beginning though, because like I played in Canada a little bit growing up when I was younger. The GTHL. You played in the GTHL, right? Like I'm guessing growing up.
That's a really good
No,
feeling.
I played against it. I was
Oh, so
loyal to my hometown.
Oh,
Yeah.
okay. So did what? I
Did
guess
you
like
play with
growing up.
anyone? Did you play with anyone
Yeah.
there?
Did you?
Not really played with Morgan Frost on Philly.
Okay.
I played growing up. I didn't play. I think I played a couple games with him. We always played against each other and battled. I've known him forever. The other guy I played with, Corey Andonovsky. He signed in Pittsburgh last year out of college. But other than that, not really too much. I mean, I played like spring hockey with a bunch of guys. Quinn Hughes. There's a bunch. So
Your first
there's a good amount.
Your first year in the OHL, you did the exact same thing, and you ended up winning the Memorial Cup with London, with potentially the greatest. I didn't realize you were on the team. Stewie was telling me beforehand, and I was stunned to find out that you were on that London Knights team. Was it like easy mode? What was that one like that season?
Yeah, I didn't get much ice time. Obviously, our team was pretty stacked.
There's like 12 NHLers on. That was Marner, Dvorak. It was just wild.
Yeah, no, that team was pretty stacked, and I mean, we won 17 in a row in the playoffs to win the Mem Cup. So it was pretty crazy. But honestly, just watching those guys go out, and I only played like 6-7 minutes, and
that's nuts.
The time when the game's out of hand, time I'd get to play all my minutes. Me and Bouchard, so it was pretty cool just watching those guys every night, and definitely a pretty special team if you look at the roster.
I do the official podcast for the Ice Dogs this year, and I was gonna ask like, what was your least favorite barn to play in the OHL? Because there's a few rough ones.
Yeah, my least favorite was definitely Peterborough.
Dude, that's what everybody says.
Yeah,
every player I ask is Peterborough.
You go in those corners and it's
a square.
There's no way you're getting out of that corner.
I don't understand how it's legal, how they allow that.
Yeah, something needs to get fixed over there, but that's definitely my least favorite.
It's always that or North Bay. And Sudbury.
I didn't mind North Bay. They have good ice, at least when I played up there. It was dark.
I think it's when you get traded there, though. Everyone's like, or if you sign there and you got to play North Bay, I think that's the issue. I think.
Fair.
So they before you like went to the O though, what's that St. Andrews College? I always hear about it. Is that like almost like a Shattuck but in Canada?
Similar.
You had one game there, Bob. One game. That's it.
Yeah, I got called up for one game. It's kind of like Shattuck, kind of like grade 11, 12 before you go to college. A lot of guys, like, if I didn't go to the OHL, I probably would have played there. So that it's kind of, they're trying to kind of mimic that. They play a lot of like the prep schools in the U.S. They play Shattuck every year. They play a bunch of different schools in the U.S. and kind of get guys noticed that way.
Go ahead, Sam.
Sorry, I was gonna say, like, how did you end up? So go back to OHL. How did you end up on Hamilton? And obviously you won again, but like, how did that whole thing work? I never understand the trades in the OHL. I'll see these like because I'm not Canadian, so it's like I'll see these things like online. They're like, oh, we traded one guy for 90,000 draft picks.
Yeah,
and I don't understand like how that works.
You can't trade your first.
The NBA. It's like the NBA. It's like we'll just make these trades like via GM mode.
Yeah, I mean, I was at the World Juniors, and I literally the day after we won gold there, I just got a call and was like, "Hey, you're going to Hamilton." I was like, "Okay." Either like you get because you have to sign a no trade or whatever, and got a call from my London GM, got a call from Doug, and next thing I know, I was gone to
Did you
Hamilton.
want to like? Did you want to like? Was it like a because like you were in your final year or what? Why did you get traded?
Yeah, it's hard. I mean, you have your billet family that I had the best billets in London. They were amazing. I still talk with them, once a week, once a
Oh,
month.
that's awesome.
Like they're family to me, and I get to see them at least once a summer. They always come visit me in Buffalo or Toronto or something. So it's pretty sweet. So that was a hard decision. You kind of really don't really have much of a say. When your GM for St. Louis calls you, you're like, all right, I'm off I go. So
When in
but
your
yeah, that's pretty much it.
in your draft year, right? When did you know? Like, did you know going into the year that you're gonna get drafted, or was like what? And or was there like a time frame, like maybe 20 games in, where like do they like sit you down and say, hey, you know, you probably have a shot? Like, how does it work for players in there? Because there's a lot of players that don't make it, and most of them know it. But I'm curious about the ones that that are gonna make it. What's it like?
Yeah, yeah. I mean, you never really know, to be honest. I mean, you see all those, you watch those TSN rankings. They're usually pretty decently accurate. So you see those before the season and you kind of see where you're at, and just from there, you just kind of motivates you a little bit. Yeah, I remember before the year, I sat down with my parents and I'm like, I want to go first round. That's my goal. And think I was ranked like third, fourth round going into the year, and had a pretty good year and really good playoffs and kind of propelled me up. So I don't think you ever really know you're going to get drafted or know you're going to make it at all.
I remember when you got drafted, I was watching the draft and it was like the TSN feed here, and they were like, "Oh, his comparable is Mike Fisher." I think I remember. I think
Oh
I've
my
told you
God,
this
that's a
before.
while
And
ago.
I was like, "Oh wow, we got a Mike Fisher coming to the team." And I'm like, that's like looking back on it, like that's a terrible comp. Like you don't play anything like him. Like I would literally compare you to like an old school player, like Adam Oates, just because you're passing and stuff. And like,
Oh, that's nice of you, Stu. Thanks.
yeah, I know.
Pumping up my tires this
And,
month.
and I actually pulled Adam Oates and Hutz, so it made me think of that too. So yeah.
Someone in my chat asked, what's your game day routines? What do you do prior to a game?
Game day routine. I'm not too like superstitious. I kind of just go with my flow.
Okay.
So we always skate in the morning. So you kind of get up, go to the rink, breakfast, skate. I usually eat around like 12. If it's 7 o'clock game, like 12:30, 1 o'clock. And then I'm a big napper, so I will go in bed and sleep as long as I possibly can.
Every game.
Room darkening shades, right? We have them, right?
Oh yeah, black it out, and
There you
I'll
go.
probably sleep for. I could sleep anywhere from like. Some days it's like 45 an hour. Some days it's like 2.5 hours.
Have you ever not set your alarm and
Yeah.
accidentally messed?
No, I always got the alarm
Okay.
set.
Hopefully I don't knock on wood there. So I had to ask you something. When you made it to the NHL, this is like a St. Louis thing, so maybe people won't know, but they used to practice at this place called the Mills Mall, and it's an
I've
absolute
been
dump.
there. That was my first year.
Oh yes, I know you were there. What did you think though, going to the NHL and you're like, holy crap, I'm playing at they're like my practice facility is the Mills Mall, and I go from London, which is like I'm sure
It's
the
almost
practice facility was
NHL, yeah.
right, and then like you go to that because I'll never forget when I was skating with like you guys like before you were there. Troy Brower was there. I'll never forget. We're sitting there in the shower, not to be weird, but he was asking me questions, and he's like, "Where do you get a good omelet around here?" I'm like, "What do you mean?" And he's like, "Well, there's not like an omelet, like a chef." And I'm like, "No, dude." I'm like, "The only thing you can eat here is like you can go out to the mall. There's a Wetzel's Pretzels. That's about it." He was like baffled by it because I guess in Washington they had like a chef, but now Centene obviously is very nice and you guys get like stuff brought in. But what did you think of the Mills when you first came in? You're like, holy crap, what is this thing?
I mean, it was interesting just pulling in the back of the mall. And speaking of that pretzel place, that thing smelled the entire place up.
Oh
You
yeah.
go on the ice and you could just smell these buttery pretzels every time. No, I mean, it wasn't that bad. It was still a step up from everything, but then as soon as we got that new rink, it's so much nicer.
It's really a game changer. I just couldn't believe, like, it's funny because I've only been to a few facilities, like I've been to Nashville's and theirs isn't that nice either, but it is funny because I'm sure when you go out of town and you practice in the other teams, because sometimes you guys practice in other teams' facilities, right? And like you practice and you're like, holy crap. I mean, yeah, it's just crazy. You have to be there to see it. Like, it's hard to explain.
What's your
Yeah.
favorite city to play in? Is
Like
not St. Louis. Sorry.
game wise.
Yeah. Like your way. Yeah. Or is it whatever?
What's that?
Or is it like whatever? Like doesn't really matter.
No, I love traveling. I think kind of rank wise, obviously MSG I think is so cool.
It is.
Every time I go out there, I still get kind of goosebumps just looking around.
The roof, man, it's the weirdest
the
thing.
roof, everything about that place is just special. I would say kind of game wise, I love playing in Nashville. We always get those like Saturday 1 o'clock games in Nashville, and there's so many Blues fans, there's so many Preds fans, and it's just like a great atmosphere for a game. So that one's pretty cool.
I love Nashville. Went to the draft and the awards. It's so. I think it might be my favorite like city. Like it's just there's a ton to do there. I can.
Yeah. We have a Blues question, and I'm sure you'll get asked this a lot. What's it like having Hazy around in the locker room? Obviously, you've known him because of the Kachucks, I'm sure. So you know him a little bit, but he's obviously everyone says he's a great guy. I'm sure.
Yeah, he's awesome. Voted what was he NHL's funniest player or something a couple years ago. So, he's a blast to have around. I mean, within the first week, he's everyone's best friend in there. So he's an awesome dude, and so happy to have him.
Yeah, and obviously, no bucket warmups. He does no bucket, right? I mean, he's a big no bucket guy. Was that your favorite thing? Could you do that in the OHL? I've never seen like warmups in the OHL. Did they let you do it?
No, you can't.
No, that's
the NHL. What was that? That's a big topic. I know I'm missing Curfew. What was that like your first year? Like, how long did it take till you were able to do it? I guess.
Probably 4 years. My fourth year, I did it.
Really? Wow.
Yeah, I did it. My first game in Toronto. My fourth year.
It's like, is it even allowed now, or is it like grandfathered out? Like no one knew.
Yeah, I got lucky. I got grandfathered. So it's gonna be funny in like a bunch of years. There's not gonna be many guys left doing it.
Yeah.
And you got the hair really growing this year. I've seen a few pictures. It's like you definitely got it going this year.
Yeah, I came in with some long hair, but I just got it snipped up a little, cleaned it up for the first game. So
yeah, that's
gotta keep it tight.
Does the fiance like it longer or shorter?
That's a good question.
I know. That's what I did. Good question. Yeah.
Shorter.
Yeah. Congratulations, by the way, on that whole thing. I did text you, so I'm not that big of a jerk.
What's what was your that you can remember personally for you? What was your favorite goal? Not you scored. It doesn't even have to be one that you scored. Like just your favorite hockey goal that you were a part of.
It's a good one. Probably that Dallas OT one.
Yeah.
That one was. Yeah, I remember after that game, I was on cloud nine for a bunch of days. The city was so cool, and still something that every once in a while someone will send it to me, and it's still pretty cool to see.
In the finals, I guess that's the issue. You like when you guys were in the finals, like was there a moment where like, oh my god, this is gonna happen? Like, do you remember feeling like that? Like, you know what I mean?
Game 6 at home, I thought it was gonna happen, and then it was the most tension I've ever felt. I've been in that building my whole life as a kid. I can't imagine like playing in the game, and he had to play in it after sitting out a few games. Like that city thought that was happening that night, and it was just like I remember watching the guys' faces at the starting lineups like going down, and I was like, they look tense. Like it looked like it was like you guys are like. Not like I don't know, like if there's such thing as nerd, it was just like, holy crap, all my family's, I don't know, maybe I'm wrong, but that's what it looked like as like a fan, I guess.
Yeah, no, it was tough. It would have been so cool to win it at home. But always those games to close it out are the hardest. And
yeah,
they came out flying and played a perfect game and just smoked us. And we had to go back to Boston and get the job done. But
were you like personally, like, were you nervous? Like about that?
I wouldn't say nervous. I was more we were just so excited. Obviously, it's a big moment and it's tense, but we were all pretty pumped and we all truly believed we were going to win it that night, and so that one kind of hurt.
Yeah, because they won Game 5 in Boston, and that was with Achari getting tripped by Bozy. I'm sure that got brought up when Achari played with you guys last year, but he, yeah, that was crazy. In Game 7, you didn't play. You're probably sitting there just freaking as nervous as everybody else watching it.
Was it worse for you watching? Like more? Was
sure.
it more nervous watching than when you were on?
It was horrible. It was one of the worst things ever watching that.
The
That's great.
it's talked about a lot. I know that Friedman talks about all the time about like when you guys are like, so this game 6 situation, and you get like your family, is like that really like all the plans after, if you guys win, is that really like a stress? Like, is it like crazy in terms of that kind of stuff?
I would say, yeah, things are planned, but I wouldn't say it's like it's definitely on your mind a little bit, but I wouldn't say it's like too big of a deal.
Yeah.
I don't think it really changed much of what was going to happen, but definitely, stuff's already planned and all that stuff. So that kind of in the back of your mind a little bit.
Yeah,
Oh,
that's
absolutely, man.
I don't know. We'll wrap it up here for a few minutes, but we got big year coming up. He's got the A on the jersey. He's playing with
Yeah.
Bruzy. He's playing with Bucci. How's it like playing with Bucci since he's Russian? Like, is he just like hilarious? Because I skated with him only like 2 times, and he was hilarious. Like, I remember the first time I skated with him, he was cherry picking, and he ripped a clapper from the hash marks, Marion Hossa style, on me, bar down, and he just was like giggling. I'm like, that guy's like,
He just
I was
killed
like,
you.
I was stunned because every time I've ever skated with those guys, none of those guys shockingly like ever put it by my head, even though I'm short. But like he just ripped it past my ear. I was like, "Holy crap!" And he was just giggling. He seems like he's funny though.
Bucci is hilarious. I love playing with him. I love him being around. He's so funny. Just he's got such a passion for hockey that like, if something, say like I toe picked one game or I fell or something, like I know that night Bucci's gonna send me the video of me toe picking. And like, he is so funny, and just loves hockey. And like you said, like throughout the game, sometimes he's got a little bit of broken English, and you have no idea what he's saying, but it's great.
He he looks so
He's such a good
disgusted
player.
sometimes too, like so mad on the bench, like just like disgusted. Like I'm like, you can just see him like mother effing, and like, he's I don't know, he cracks me up. So yeah, you guys have that line. I was telling Sleaze, I'm like before you came on, I'm like I think big year ahead. Like I'm thinking, I mean not to put any pressure on you guys, but I think you guys are gonna kill it. There's a line.
I think so,
Yeah,
man. I think so.
Yeah, no,
yeah,
it's
we had a good preseason. It's looking pretty good. So excited to get going.
I
Oh,
love
and
it.
we'll have to rip some ESHL here coming up.
I was
Us
about to
three.
say
Well,
that.
me and Tomer had a nice little night with our buddy Sammy Blade the other night. We got him on the sticks. It was kind of funny because Sammy's a character, and we have to ask. I have to ask you before you go the name Jalapeno Cheetos. I told Sleaze at the media day to ask you why your ESHL player team name is Jalapeno Cheetos. I think it was something
You're
with COVID.
giving it
Actually.
away. I was incognito. Now I got to change it.
Well,
There's
no one can
numbers.
find
There's
your,
numbers.
no one will
Yo,
find your
there's
gamer tag.
numbers.
Don't worry, no one's gonna find your gamer tag. But yes,
No, I was a big fan of the jalapeno Cheetos growing up. So
Do you still?
put my
Is that
name.
what you rip? Is that your snack?
No, I haven't had them in a while. Gotta look after the body now, but
Fair enough. Fair enough.
no, I love jalapeno Cheetos.
and Bob's got those pretty new white teeth that he can't get all those nasty Cheetos in and stuff like that.
That's it.
But no, I appreciate. Actually, I got to tell one story before. Do you remember like the first time you met me? How you met me? I'm sure you don't. You were in the locker room. Well, actually, I saw you on the training table. It was like dev camp. But the first time when you made it to NHL, you came in the locker room and you like we're talking. I sat next to you, and you go, "Huh? I hear you play NHL," and I go, "Yeah, I do." And you're like, "You know News TV and Don't Be Sod?" I go, "Yeah, I do." And I'm like, "How do you know?" You're like, "I rip NHL with them sometimes." Like I guess you did something with them, but that's how we started like talking. And then like as like the training camp like went on, I got like your number and we started playing like ESHL. I don't know. I just thought it was funny. I was like, I had to bring that up because I was telling Sleaze when you came on, like you're a big gamer, like back at least back in the day. Maybe not as much now because you're a dad now with the dog, but but he definitely loves his games a little bit. So it's
Yeah,
fun.
me and
But
my brother used to we used to play NHL all the time. We'd watch everyone who was streaming. Like we were big NHL fans, so it's pretty cool. And then me and you tore it up, and with the big boys, we changed it. Everyone was all those skill guys playing the 3-on-3, and we'd come out and just bulldoze them. It was
oh
great.
yeah, when I played you and Max Jones and Jacob
And
Bryce,
Bryce,
who's
yeah.
in Buffalo, they have a good little crew there. And I remember I said, I'm like, dude, these games last like 45 minutes. They just fight the whole game. Like it was crazy. And Tomer would be like, Stu, go score a goal. I'm like, well, I'm trying. I'm like, we're on the penalty kill though. Like 2-10. But no, I appreciate you coming on with
thanks,
us. And
man.
you're our first player guest. But yeah, like it was fun. I'm glad you were able to make some time for us, Bob. Appreciate it.
Yeah, absolutely. Thanks, guys. It was a blast.
Anytime that you get some spare time and you want to play some ESHL, I think we got to make that happen.
All right, let's do it.
All right, boss. Well, thanks for joining us tonight. And all right, everyone, thank you for watching episode 77 of Coffee and Chel with Robert Thomas. And we'll see you next time. Have a good one.